Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to PSGL on the PlayStation. This is the F2 tier for season 27, and we're at round number 5, almost at the halfway point of the season, and we go to Monte Carlo for the Monaco Grand Prix. A track where a lot of the drivers want to win. My name is Jess, and joining me as per usual, whilst his game is deciding to update, we've got Dan. How you doing?
I'm doing brilliant. I forgot to do the update earlier on, but yeah, I should be okay with everything once I get into the lobby. It's on 80% now, so it's going quite speedily.
Yes, it's been part of this F1 calendar, Monaco, since 1950. It's known for its glitz and glamour, and we saw loads of battles happening here actually in real life, one including Senna versus Mansell, where Mansell setting a lap record 2 seconds faster than Senna, but there was a loose wheel nut that forced the leading Mansell back into the pits due to the fact that Senna's tyres were older and he was able to keep position. That was why Senna was able to take the victory. And if you missed last week, we saw Mish take his first win, which puts him 3 points behind our championship leader, who is actually now our championship leader, Benjamin, 3 points behind. So we got Benjamin in first, Mish in second, and we got Table Clan, who got a podium as well last time out in France, in 4th position in the championship. Then we got Will in the Williams on 21 points, Fabi in the McLaren on 20, Kometa Bean, who is now WSO_Samuel Bean in 7th on 16. Then we got Luca in 8th with 13. Then we got Midnight on 12, joint with Tomato. Tomato can't be here tonight though, unfortunately. Ballina on 10 points, joint with Petrox. And we got Kazooie with 9 points, Hadler in 8 points, and Lamp on 6 points. Constructors standings look like this. AlberTauri's now leading the way with 43 points. Renault's dropped down a few positions after both Renaults failing to score last week, with Racing Point jumping a few positions up to 2nd. Williams in 4th with 33 points. McLaren in 5th with 28 points. Alfa Romeo 6th with 23 points. Red Bull in 7th with 18. 8th in Haas with 12 points. And we got Ferrari in 9th with 8 points. And Mercedes last with 5 points. And Greeny being the only driver out of the full-time bunch, at least, to not score a point. This is not like Greeny at this moment in time, as we're going to actually head to qualifying now, as the majority of people are starting their lap. We've got Makina, who's filling in for one of the drivers tonight. That is Shizu Tamayo that he's filling in for. And we've got World Rally filling in for Caden Forbes, as he can't be here tonight. Apart from that, everybody else who's meant to be here is here, apart from obviously my co-commentator who's not in the lobby yet, but he's almost there at least anyway. So I'm trying to find someone who's on a lap whilst we do that, as we've got, I think we had a Racing Point on a lap. Let's go on board with Samuel Bean, who won in Belgium. Well, actually, he won quite a few races in F1, and now he's racing here in F2, and he raced here in Lee's place in Belgium, because Lee had a horrible race, but obviously Lee's down in F1. So now you're heading towards past the hairpin, and now going into the Mirabeau and heading into Portier as well. Not many places you can cut apart from, I would say, the tunnel section. That as well, I think a lot of people can get caught out as well. And you're now heading, it's quite it's just a nice sounding tunnel, to be honest, as you head towards the Nouvelle Chicane now, and heading almost into turn 12. You've got to be careful to not graze the wall too much, because otherwise damage is going to be there at this moment in time. And he's saying purple in sector 2, or as he grazed the wall there, that's not going to help his lap heading into Rascasse at the moment. Heading towards the penultimate few corners. What lap time is it going to be for him? It is going to be, it's going to be a 108.014. That puts him into pole position for this qualifying session so far.
Yeah, well, my update has finished, but I've got to just quickly do a software update. So, yeah, everything that can go wrong is going wrong, but we're probably going to be expecting a pole time of about a 7.6 or 7.5. Sorry, 7, yeah, it's 7. I kind of not really sure about Monaco times, because they've just gotten so much quicker over the years, but I definitely think that those lap times are possible for these guys. They're all very, very high caliber, and I didn't quite catch what the pole time was at the moment, but I think they will get to that mark.
Yeah, they're not in the 107s yet, but I have a feeling they will get into the 107s, almost definitely. They will almost definitely get it in F1 later on, which you can watch at 8 p.m. But for F2, I think they'll definitely will... I think 107s is definitely doable for these guys. Obviously, this is no assist tier. F1 and F2 are no assist, so anything can happen. Some of these guys want to get into F1 esports in the future, and for some of these guys, they want to either get into F1 in PSGL next season or climb back into F1 after a drop into F1 as well. So we got Mish, last week's race winner, on a lap as well as he passes Zandvoort. No, he rides into Zandvoort, please, tonight. Hopefully these guys can keep it clean through there, just past casino section. Not many places to overtake. I would say past this section here is probably where you'll get the most overtaking. Maybe this hairpin here, and then the tunnel, and then Raskas. That's pretty much it, and heading into turn 1. So that means getting a good qualifying session is absolutely crucial here around here, as Mish is looking quite good at the moment on his lap. Let's see how he does in sector 2. We've got to watch to see if he handles this chicane right, which he does. Some people, they tend to go a bit slower because they don't want to invalidate. Handles this corner quite nicely, actually doesn't graze the wall at all. Past the swimming pool section now and heading into Raskas. Looks like a much tidier lap from Mish compared to the other drivers, apart from a bit of a slide heading into just past Raskas now. Heading towards the final corner. Could be the first person to go into the 107s. I think he must have lost it in one of the sectors because he was looking quicker. So he must have maybe lost it in sector 1, maybe potentially as well. But in sector 3 definitely was a lot tidier than some other people. I'm guessing he's just taking a bit cautious at the moment. Or maybe he's just getting his fuel gauge in the right place as well. So we'll have to find out about that soon. We've got Will on a lap. Well, he's on an out lap at the moment because Kazui's about to finish up a lap as well. Needs to score some points for the Renault team after poor showing last time out. He's on provisional pole. It's a Renault 1-2. The first person to get into the 107s at the moment, 107.8. Now, what would you say is good for this track? Do you think it's suited for the wheel more than the pad, or do you think it's a bit of both?
I definitely think that this is a circuit where you should be going for the obviously not should be going for, but the wheel is definitely stronger around this circuit, especially around corners like the hairpin, where you just need that extra rotation that you get with the wheel, and you can't really achieve with the pad. So this is one of the few tracks that I would say are stronger for the wheel, more I guess suited for it. A bit, well, kind of the opposite of USA and Japan, but those are really only 3 tracks I can think of off the top of my head where the wheel will be actually better than the pad.
Yeah, so I think the ones that are on the wheel are going to have the most advantage, so that's why probably Mish is down at the moment. And I hate some of these circuits where it's mainly wheel dominated, but in a way it provides some good racing nonetheless, as Will has just invalidated once again. And good news, Dan has joined the session, so hopefully in about a few minutes time he should be able to see cars go into there as well. Now, Balliners were tied from the session. I believe he's either hit the wall somewhere or might have lost it somewhere to cause him to be in a little bit of a spin. But apart from that, we have all 19 drivers still either on a lap or have set a lap already. I think Luca and Will are the only other ones to not set a lap too. Fabi's on a lap as well. Manolo looking good in P7. This is the part of the season really where you can't make any more mistakes. We're almost at the halfway point. If you basically had majority of your season bad races, it's going to be really hard to recover from your poor showing at the start of the season. So guys like Manolo, guys like I would say Greeny and the 2 Mercedes boys, they need to step up their game.
Yeah, these guys aren't on too many points. I believe Manolo did have a pretty strong showing last time out, but that was kind of, well, I wouldn't say gifted, but it was definitely aided by the wet weather coming out. He lost a lot of time to the guys that were in front of him, you know, like Benjamin and Mish and all of those guys. As Lamakina, did he just go to the top? It says he's done the fastest lap for me, but that is very strange. He's 5th on the leaderboard, but he says...
did it still say fastest lap for you at the bottom?
It's gone purple. Like, on the timing sheet, it's just purple.
It usually happens on this game. It happened to me quite a lot this season, and so I think you'll probably just have to look at the left-hand tag. 'Cause usually I get those problems, and So I'm not actually seeing if they go top of the time machine until I actually look on the left-hand side. So I have to keep a close eye on to see how well they do at the moment. Everyone's going into the pit, apart from a few people that are going on their out lap. That's Petrox invalidating his in lap. There's Benjamin on his out lap. I don't think there's anyone that is on a flying lap at the moment with 8 minutes to go. Strategy-wise... Pardon, sorry?
Fabi's almost a tenth and a half up there. He just grazed the wall coming through to back. And
he invalidated.
He's invalidated there, unfortunately, just at the swimming pool chicane. So he's going to back off on that one. It looks like he's going to go push for another lap here in that McLaren car. He's probably got the fuel to do it. I'm not seeing any fuel lights. So into Sandavot, of course, the famous corner where Jeff gives the very famous line, and that is not what he likes to see. And that is a lap immediately over for Fabi, because he has just got left side end plate damage, which is pretty much going to make him lose all of his downforce, all of his turning, and completely ruin his lap. So that is pretty much him over for now. He'll have to come back into the pits to get that repaired instantly, which is quite nice about online mode. And he can come out and try again. He currently sits in 9th position, but I definitely think, judging by his previous lap, he can go higher than that.
I think one advantage of this track is not a long lap compared to the likes of Belgium when we go to Singapore later on as well. So when they... if they invalidate or something or get damaged, they can go into the pits pretty quickly and then go out pretty quickly as well, which is good. And you can see Fabi cutting the corner, so he wants to get there as quickly as he possibly can as well. But yeah, Fabi was on one lap older tyres than everybody else, setting his lap. So I'm a bit confused about that. Maybe it's suggesting that it could rain at the start of the race. We did see something similar happen in last week as well, where there was rain affected in some of the tiers as well. Fabi goes into the pit, so that's that confirmed as well. Let's go on with our car and pole sitter, Kazui, who's looking very, very good right now. Don't forget, he's joined us from F4 last season. He's the reigning F4 champion, and to be honest, I was not expecting him to do as well as he would have thought, but he has been practicing in Monaco, so it is to be expected. So Kazui, can he get higher than a 107.8, which is what is a current pole time? He smashes it. 107.686. That looked a very tidy lap from the Renault driver, and that is redemption that both the Renault drivers need right now.
Absolutely, the fluidity of that lap was just on point. It looks so perfect riding on board with him, and that is a really brilliant lap time from Kazui. It's going to take some beating from some of the guys behind him, but Lamp F1's just begun a lap, and he is definitely in one of the favourites if he can beat him. Of course, being on the wheel, it seems like everyone at the top is on the wheel, not the pad. So yeah, that really is a trend. But well, he's quite a lot down through the first sector, a big lock up through Mirabeau, and that's going to be him aborting that lap.
Yeah, that is, I think, a bit of a lock up there. Don't forget, Lamp actually set pole last time in France as well, so he's pretty much a quali merchant when it comes to for some of these tracks as well. He usually performs better in qualifying than the race. He did finish quite lower than his qualifying position last week, but I wonder if he could do different and score better in the race. We'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, World Rally, his teammate, not that far behind, so we've got a Renault 1-2, then a Ferrari 3-4 at the moment as World Rally goes into the pit lane at the moment. 4 minutes left to go as everyone is coming in to get their final setups in, and it's going to be low fuel mode for pretty much all these drivers. They're going to be going pretty much, they put a lot of fuel at the start of qualifying and for their first pretty much 2 runs in the soft tyres. These are the runs now where they put less fuel as they possibly can to try and get a lap in. In Belgium, you can't even do that. If you put like 2.1 laps of fuel on there, you can't make it to the end in the qualifying session. Whereas in this track, you can actually do that. Put the lowest fuel possible and then try and set the quickest lap possible on this fuel. So it's definitely expect some quicker lap times as Petrox goes in 2nd position in that Haas car. Now he sets purple in sector 3. So good job for him.
And someone else on a pretty decent lap at the moment is the man in third position, the other Renault to Kazooie. It is Samuel Bean. He's looking really strong on this lap so far. It showed up as purple on the track graphic there. We'll see what he does through the second sector as he just crosses the split around about here. He's about a 10th up, so he needs a big improvement if he wants to take on Kazooie in a big slide. Coming out the swim push king, going to lose him a lot of time there, but I think he might as well finish it. No, he's going to come into the pit lane, take off that set of tyres, and he is going to go again. He's not going to commit to that one because there is time in that lap for Samuel Bean. He could definitely challenge Kazooie. I don't think that the leading Renault at the moment is completely out of the water. I think that some guys are going to have something to say about him romping off with a 107.6.
Yeah, Samuel Bean actually was fastest in Sector 2. It was purple Sector 2. So if he actually nailed Sector 3, he probably would have been fastest overall. So I'm guessing he wants to match that later on, and he's probably going to be going even quicker later on as well, as quite a few people going out already. They want to get some clear air as well. Haven't seen that much traffic so far in a majority of their laps as well, so I'm guessing they're evenly spread at the moment, but things might change towards the end of qualifying where they're going to come out pretty much at the 2-minute mark. You can probably go out later with these shorter laps, Zandvoort being one of the other tracks as well. Zandvoort and Austria, we're not visiting in PSGL this season. The only other, someone is gone off or had a bit of a slide there as well. I wasn't quite sure who it was, but you know, they need to get out quickly if they want to get a good lap time. It's Benjamin, I believe, is on the lap as well. Yes, he is. I think he was the one you were following, and he's probably just backed out.
Yeah, he did it to let the Racing Point car through, I believe, Mick. So the two of them, both championship rivals, and he's just letting them on by. These guys right down at the bottom of the grid, 16th and 17th. Not what these guys would want to see, especially around a circuit like Monaco, where it's notoriously difficult to actually make an overtake. This is really one of the only tracks where qualifying is king. You'll want to be on top if you really want a chance at winning the race. Someone on a run at the moment is MNT Luca, of course, representing the Dutchman, and he's got some fans in the chat, which is always great to see. He's just almost a 10th up on his previous best time, and with how close this grid is, if he can find a couple more tenths, never mind, he's just invalidated at the Nouvelle chicane, and there is name changer retiring in the pit lane. That's his qualifying over. The best he could achieve was at most 6th position.
Yeah, I think we'll see a few more people in the 107, so probably he's going to jump a bit more lower than that, which is unfortunate, but P6 for name changer is pretty good, and I believe he's retired in the pits. Yes, he's retired in the pits. So I'm guessing he was happy with that lap, or there was nothing more he could have done, or maybe he couldn't get out in time, so that's probably why he has retired then as well. So battle for pole then is pretty much going to be between Kazooie, Petrox, Samuel Bean, Lamp, and McKenna as well. Don't rule out Will as well. Benjamin as well, who got pole in Belgium. Mish as well, last week's race winner. Pretty much a lot of these guys could get pole position. Table Clan as well, who performed well last week. And I could probably see some of these guys going for the alternate strategy. That's probably why some of them are not pushing too much at the moment. We're riding on board with Table Clan in the Alfa Romeo. We'll see how he does in Sector 1. He's a little bit off in Sector 1, so I don't think he's going to improve on his lap time unless he has a monstrous Sector 2, as a lot of people are going through Sector 3. There's a Mercedes that's gone off. I think that's CC Brain. Yeah, that's CC Brain. He's got no wing, so we can't improve at the moment. As the checker flag is about to drop, and Manolo is going to be the first person to cross the line, so let's go on board with him. No, it's actually Samuel Bean that goes Kazooie is a Renault 1-2 at the moment. Let's see what Manolo could do. Only managed P15 at the moment. How about his MMT teammate? I think he's down anywhere unless he could go any faster. Nope, he stays in P10 at the moment. Then we've got the Alfa Romeo's coming across the line. We've got Table Clan. There's a lot of people actually crossing the line to finish their laps. Table Clan could only manage P12 at the moment. We do see a Haskar part, I think, near the swimming pool section. Wasn't quite sure who that was. It's Lamborghini, so that's a bit of a shame. It's a Williams that parked in the Nouvelle chicane. 2 cars being parked there, which is unfortunate. But let's follow people that are on laps. I'm trying to find I think it might be Petrox that's finishing a lap that was almost an invalidation. He's 2,000s off, 2,000s quicker than his previous best, but I don't think it's going to be enough to challenge pole position. Coming towards the final corner now in the 46 car. Lamborghini has been disqualified, but Petrots can only manage 5th position. We've got, I think we're just waiting for a few more cars. Will going into the pit, so he can't improve. I think we're just waiting for the Red Bull who's already crossed the line. I think it's just Benjamin and Royal Rally coming across the line. So Royal Rally, can he get higher than 7th? No, he can't. And it's just Benjamin now who is invalidated. So name changer. We thought he was going to drop down, but he somehow managed to stay in P6. And your pole position, man, I think for the first time this season actually, is Kazooie representing the Shizou team.
Yeah, well, in terms of the constructors' fight, that is what Renault would have wanted, a front row lockout. Their main rivals, Alpha Tauri and Racing Point, neither team is inside the top 10 for any of their cars. There's only one Racing Point here today because I believe Midnight is just, I don't know where he is, but he's not here today. So, yeah, disaster for our championship leader, though. He's all the way down in, I think, 16th or 17th position. He could not hook up a lap together.
And he got a podium last week as well. And he can't afford to have good results, bad results like this because, like we said, qualifying is key. So let's have a run down your order then. So Kazooie on pole with Samuel Bean in 2nd, Lamp in 3rd. Then Simo had a good qualifying session in 4th. Petrots in 5th. Name changes 6th. We've got Royal Rally, Will, Luca, and CC Brain rounds up your top 10. Then we got Table Clan, Fabi, Mish, Manolo, Hadler, Benjamin, Greeny, Ballina, and Makina bringing up the rear there, with Ballina and Makina not saying a time. Makina actually being disqualified, so that is why he is down there, lower down the field.
So we're going to have to just get prepared for a little bit of a slugfest here today. Of course, there might be a lot of contact between these guys, and looks like it's nice and sunny, which is, I think a lot of the drivers will be just giving a little bit of a sigh of relief there that they wouldn't have had to have done Monaco in full wet conditions. That would have been an absolute nightmare.
To be honest, I don't like full wet conditions in any street circuit. So to be honest, for these drivers, at least we could actually get some good racing, because I think the wet conditions around Monaco, it kind of spoils things a bit. It kind of promotes, like, probably is going to be more people getting damaged if there was wet weather, but you know, thank goodness we're not in this wet weather territory at the moment. The drivers are getting ready to choose their strategy, of course. As you've seen pop up earlier, it's going to be either soft to mediums pitting around lap 8 to 11, or soft to hard pitting lap 5 to 8. The hards can go pretty much majority of the race, pretty much 35 laps. Mediums can go 31 laps. Softs can go 13 laps. And the deltas, pretty good between the softs and the mediums, 6 tenths. So it depends on how they can manage with their setups and how they can manage with tyre management as well. We'll have a quick look at the track before we start as well. 3.3 kilometres long with 19 turns. And we only have one DRS zone here today, which is at the start-finish straight, which is going to be quite interesting. It's not going to be one of those tracks where it's going to be DRS OP. I think one of the only tracks on the calendar, maybe Mexico as well. Actually, no, Mexico has more than one DRS track, I think. But yeah, it's one of the tracks on the calendar where there's only one DRS straight. Japan as well. So they're really going to be on their A game as well in terms of overtaking. They've got to get it nailed as well. And looking at the strategies outside the top 10, we've got me, Table Clan and Fabi on the mediums, as well as Hadler, Benjamin, Ballina and Makina. And then we've got Mish and Greedy on the hards. And we've got Manolo on the softs. I wouldn't be starting on the softs if you are outside the top 10, because you're going to be stuck all in that dirty air in this traffic. So Manolo must be pretty confident getting the moves done early on, but let's just see what happens.
Well, I'm not too sure. I wouldn't have personally gone for those soft tyres, but these guys are F2. Of course, they probably know something that we don't here. Maybe he's just trying to get that little bit of extra pace and try and make some early moves. Pit earlier, then have that undercut on everyone else in front of him, and then go then pretty much be a mobile chicane for the latter part of the race, because it's so difficult to overtake here. And really, it's if you can just drive in the middle of the track, you could be the widest car in Formula 1 history.
Yep, exactly. And I've got to say, I was very impressed with Kazooie's lap. I think Kazooie could probably be in pretty much the top 5 or the top 10 in F1 if he was racing in F1 tonight. That's how quick he is around Monaco. So fair play to him, who's doing ever so well. With a few people actually getting disqualified from the formation lap. That's Lamp and Simo, as we're seeing Kazooie making his way onto the grid and going past those cars as well. I don't think Kazui's gonna take the win. I think Samuel Bean is gonna take his second win of the season. What do you think?
I'm gonna say Lamp wins this race because why not? And then I'll go with Kazumi in second, Sammy Bean third.
That is not a bad prediction, actually. Let us know your predictions in the chat as we're about to get going then for 39 laps worth of racing. Let's hope we don't get a glitch lobby this time. It looks okay so far. The 5 red lights are on. Both Renaults on the front row, and we are underway. And it's a good start from Kazui there as they all make it through into Zandvoort. Let's hope they make it cleanly this time. I see a bit of damage already from some of the cars. It must be some end plate damage as well. We can already see Mish already making his way up the order, so Mish is already having a good start as well, as unfortunately the timings have glitched. That's why they're ghosting off each other at this moment in time. But we are starting to see a few people taking a lot of risks this early stage, as we got, I think, one of the Red Bulls going for a move into this hairpin here. I think, it's a little bit of a traffic jam already heading into Milbobo, so and a bit of end plate damage there as well. I think it was from, I wasn't quite sure who it was. It's quite hard to tell in Monaco, but pretty decent start from majority of these guys. But for someone that got damage, this has already hindered their race.
Well, I'm looking at one of them, and it is Table Clan, one of our championship contenders, in fourth at the moment on 22 points. He's got a bit of end plate damage as well, as Luca is missing one of his end plates. So a lot of these guys not taking it as carefully as they should have done through the first lap, and sometimes it just can't be helped. So I don't reckon that those guys will come into the pit lane. I believe name change is coming in, and this could hinder Table Clan because these guys are teammates at the moment. Table Clan's going to get held up by name changer getting his wing change, and he has to get his own change as well. Disaster for the Spaniards, and this has pretty much ruined any hope for this race of him.
Yeah, double stacking on this game unfortunately does not work, and it's a bit of a shame that both the Alfa Romeos were the one to get damaged. The other person to get damaged was also the Williams of McKenna there, and if he got damaged a few laps later, he would have made it to the end, but there's no way those halves will make it to the end, so it's probably going to be a hard to soft strategy for the ones that pitted for the rest of this race, apart from Name Changer, who's going on to the medium tyres. So I'm guessing he wants to match what the people on the alternate strategy that are on the mediums are, to see if he can get up to the pace, because he's actually not, he's going to try and find some time to catch up. It's going to be a little bit more difficult. But Name Changer's race has gone from bad, well, pretty much good to bad. He started, qualified 6th, and now he's down in 17th position. Meanwhile, this is going to be a very tasty battle for the lead. Pretty much the top 5 are pretty much running away with it at the moment. The top 2 are giving each other slipstream, which you are allowed to in the race, of course. You're not allowed to in the qualifying. And this is a dream start from the Renault guys at the moment. Kazui with a 1:11, and we got Lamp that's the fastest lap so far as well. I mean, so I'm not sure if these guys will be using team orders for the championship at this early stage of the championship, or will they just be allowing, well, the Renault bosses will be allowing to race. I hope these guys will be allowed to race, because this is really, really good at the moment for these boys. These reminds me of also the Mercedes boys in Xbox on Thursday, where we saw Lutz and Brown fighting for the win, and we saw Lutz do a very good overtake into Zandvoort towards the end of the race, and that saw him winning the race. So maybe we may see something similar from Samuel Bean today, but we'll have to wait and see. But looks like the top 4 remain unchanged, and then we got a Haas 5-6 at the moment. So it looks so pretty much only 3 teams in the top 6: Renault, Ferrari, and Haas.
Yeah, well, it's a bit reminiscent of a couple years ago when it was the stable of F1. It was Mercedes, Red Bull, and Ferrari locking out the top 6 every time. We're getting shades of that here, but it looks like the Renault cars are just beginning to slip away ever slightly from Lamp F1 and as well as World Rally, just beginning to spread out just a touch. So yeah, these guys getting to the point where they are just going to start to settle into a groove and try and drive as really conservative as possible. There's Luca coming to the pit lane to most likely serve that damage that he had earlier on, and it's going to be a set of hard times for him. I don't see the reason why he would want to stay out personally, but maybe he knows something that we don't know, as I've said before previously in this stream. So yeah, Kazui, he's got a nice comfortable lead over Samuel Bean, who's actually just touched the inside wall there coming through Mirabeau, and that is a kind of cocked his, oh, sorry for saying that, but it's not really helped his, I apologize, but it's not helped him at all in that situation.
It definitely has not, and that's going to allow Lamp to catch up as well. So Connor just asked me for the gap to leader, and pretty much it's the top, I would say the top 8 around about 5-6 seconds, and then we've got everybody else around about 9 seconds as well. So it's going to be tough for some of these guys to get past. The top 8 are on the soft compounded tyres. CC Brain has also had a good start. Let's also check for position changes. Royal Rally's been the biggest gainer, gained 3 positions. Will's gained 1. CC Brain gained 2, Fabi's gained 3, and then we've got Manolo, Hadler, Benjamin, Greeny, and Banners gained 4. And then we got Simo, Petros gained 1, but I'm guessing it's not going to matter too much for those 2 because they're still in a good position. Mish has dropped down 2, Name Changes dropped down 10, as well as Luke has dropped down 8, and Table Clan has dropped down 8. Somehow, even though McQueen has got damage, he's still gained 1 position. Don't forget he started last at the moment. And as you can see, the mistake from one of the Renault drivers is definitely costing them as the gap is starting to... It's starting to close a little bit, but it's harder to overtake around here, especially if you're on similar tyres. It may make a difference if you are the car in front, because Kazooie obviously qualified on pole, and he's doing all his might to defend, and he's driving ever so well at the moment. Lab is keeping his car on the track as well, which is great to see, and lots of other people as well. Simo could be on his best finish as well in the Haas car. There's going to be a lot of history books to be made if these guys possibly stay where they are. We had quite a lot of different winners this season. We had Lee win in the first 2 races. We've had Samuel Bean win in Belgium, and we had Mish win in France. Could we see a 4th different race winner this season? I really do hope we do, because that will be amazing to see.
Yeah, so Kazooie just needs to keep doing what he's been doing so far. Even so, Sammy Bean's not letting him escape too easily. 5 tenths is the gap between these guys, and then looks like Lambert is just beginning to slip off a little bit, but he has got 60% worth of his ERS that he can utilise to keep up with these guys if he really needs to. If it kind of should be a lifeline for him. Because there's not too many places where you can actually utilise that ERS and make an overtake, of course. We are probably going to see this quite to be a repeating pattern where these guys are just going to be following behind each other, and it'll probably be a bit of a slow burner this race, but if we do see some great battles, that would be brilliant to see. It looks like Lamp is just beginning to hold up a train almost of World Rally, Simo and Petrox, and there's a big gap back to Will, who's struggling at the moment, feeling the pressure from CC Brain and Fabi. Those medium tyres are probably quicker at this point in time than the softs, if not the same place, so Fabi will definitely be on the front foot trying to keep up with these guys and make an overtake. There's Will coming into the pit lane. He might have picked up damage somewhere along the run, because
maybe undercut.
A little early for him. It could be an undercut.
I did see people pit around about this lap in Xbox on Thursday, and they still managed to make it work. There was no safety car, and they made it work. So Will is probably definitely responding to that. He didn't pick any damage, so yeah, Will is known for the alternate strategy. So I'm a bit shocked about that he's actually going for the undercut, but he wants to try and get as many positions as possible. One thing that the drivers were told in the stewards briefing is to not cross the pit lane exit line, because it is really hard around this circuit. The stewards have been warned, and if the game sees you do cross the pit lane exit line, then you will get a penalty, and that penalty will not get removed as well. And when crossing the line, don't follow the pit wall unless you're absolutely certain nobody is about to exit the pits, because we've seen a few close calls in PSGL in the past where a few people were close to the pit lane wall when they were not in the pits and everyone else was leaving the pits, and it caused some issues. So hopefully we won't see the same thing tonight, as Samuel Bean is responding to Will in going into the pits. His teammate is staying out because obviously the double stacking does not work on this game. Petrox also goes in. I'm a bit shocked neither of the Ferraris down are pitting.
Yeah, you'd probably have expected at least one of them to go in, but I don't think Sammy Bean is actually responding to Will. They're kind of not in the same race at the moment. You can see Sammy Bean exiting the pit lane here. He's got a Mercedes car just coming around, and now that was quite close for comfort for Greeny and Sammy Bean, who's just going to come out side by side up the hill now, and it looks like Greeny's just edged Sammy Bean. The guys have had a little bit of beef in the Twitter chat about blocking through qualifying, so these guys really heated at the moment between the pair of them. Could see a rash move from Sammy Bean, but of course if he does make contact at all with Greeny LFC, then that will completely ruin his race, and of course Greeny's as well, a league admin. So of all the people you really wouldn't want to hit, I think Greeny is definitely one of them.
Yeah, definitely as well. I've got to say, you wouldn't want to be... He's going for the move. Greeny's letting him through, which I think is a smart thing to do, I've got to say. Yeah, that is out of respect as well. I think for some of these guys, it's harder to let people through. And if you're on a different strategy, say if you haven't pitted yet and the drivers around you have pitted, it is really right to let them through. Because otherwise, you're going to get held up in your strategy. And then when you go into the pitch, you're going to lose time as well to the people in front who are also on the same strategy as you. So... Samuel Bean has probably lost a bit of time, and probably Kazui's going to be way ahead of his teammates. So Kazui comes out of the pit lane now. He's going to stay on the yellow line. He's going to be very, very close actually coming out of the pit. Kazui is just ahead. I think it looks like Samuel Bean has jumped quite a few of the gaps, around about 7-8 tenths. Now the gap's around about 2 tenths. So even though he was held up by Green just a little bit there, he wasn't held up by that much in a little battle. So I'm guessing that Greeny let Samuel by quite a decent time at the moment as well. This is getting very feisty between the two Renault boys. Let's hope they don't get any damage, but these two really want the win today, and then they also want constructors points. If these two get the maximum points today, then they're almost certainly going to be leading the championship after tonight. They're third at the moment on 41 points. They were leading the championship for pretty much the whole season, apart from this week, of course. So they really need to get a move on and get a perfect start as well. There's lots of other people that just pitted. World Rally's pitted as well. Lap, I believe, has pitted too, and there's quite a few people that also pitted earlier due to damage. So that's why they're staying out just for a little bit longer. But yeah, Samuel Bean, I think, is looking. He's going to probably go for a move any second. His ERS is quite low though, so I'm guessing he's not going to have enough to last for the lap. That's probably why Kazui is on another level at the moment. Actually, they're on the same level of ERS at the moment. They're just so tight. This is going to allow Petrox to close in as well.
Oh, World Rally's got a 5-second time penalty for cutting the pit exit, and I can confirm he's already got damage, and how's he been disqualified?
I'm a bit shocked about that. Can you check the race director for me? Because usually I check it if I'm on my own, but I don't want to check it when I'm not on my own. So yeah, that's for something similar to happen in Xbox as well, where we saw someone get disqualified. How did he pick that many penalties in 10 laps?
Not a single one. He got, hang on, I'm counting this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 penalties for corner cutting, all on lap number 10 at the exact same time. That is quite ridiculous, and it's just another reason why Codemasters is really not helping themselves in having all these glitches in the game. You'd at least expect someone to get updated, but I've never seen that before in my life.
I've never seen that before as well. Like 7 penalties on lap, I would kind of want to see his POV as well at the end of the race, just to get an idea. If it was just a massive corner cut, then yeah, he should be disqualified, but I don't know this one. Meanwhile, Will has just got past Green into Sandoval on the fresher tyres up into P8, but he's got name changer there as well. I don't think Greeny's going to give name changer an easy time at the moment, because don't forget Greeny is, I think, only on 1 lap older tyres compared to name changer at this moment in time. Don't forget name changer did pit quite early on due to damage, of course, but he's still making his way up there. He's doing a medium to soft strategy, and he's getting back near to where he's meant to be, which is not bad for him as well. And it just goes to show you, do not give up at Monaco, because if people get damage around here, that could help other people get back into this race. It's name changer. Is he going to get into the Nouvelle chicane? Whoa, you almost touched Greeny there. That was close, but they keep it together, of course. And you can see the big train from name changer, Manolo, CC Brain, and Lamp as well. I think CC Brain definitely wants to get past these cars, and I think Greeny's probably holding up these guys for CC Brain at the moment.
Yeah, you'd probably expect him to do that because CC Brain, of course, is his teammate, but he's kind of struggling at the moment behind Manolo and Name Changer. Of course, Name Changer pitting on lap number 1, and he had a half look for a move into Sandoval, and now Manolo's actually going to take advantage of this, and they're going to go side by side up the hill. Manolo, is he going to make the brave move around the outside, coming into the casino square? Manolo putting it all on the line, and he's got the move done on Name Changer. Wow. Brilliant overtake from Manolo, of course, representing ET8 Esports, and that is probably also why Greeny might have helped him, of course, being a part of the same esports organization, and so is CC Brain as well, so really not going to be helping Name Changer in the position that he's in, but a brilliant overtake, and the commitment there was just absolutely incredible from Manalo. Brilliant overtake.
I've got to say, he was very, very brave making that, because if I make a move around that corner, then I'd probably just end up in the wall. So well done to him, good job, and it just shows you can overtake in Monaco around that corner. So good job to him, and it's probably going to give him some confidence right now as well. But look at this, Petrox has caught up right to the back of the two Renault boys. That's probably why the Renaults were fighting too much. It's just allowing the two Haas cars to catch up. It's a 3-horse fight now for this race victory. All 3 cars are on the mediums. We've got a yellow flag in set to 3. That is, I believe, a Mercedes car of CC Brain who's binned it. CC Brain's binned it. But let's not check that, but we got a battle for the lead as Samuel Bean has overtaken Kazooie. I think the same overtake that Manalo did a lap earlier. So good job to Samuel Bean there for getting that move done. I'm gutted I kind of missed that, but I just caught the end of it. It looks like Kazooie is struggling because Petrox is right on the back of him.
Yeah, no damage, it looks like, on the car of Kazooie, but Petrox is going to have a look into the Nervos again. There's a little bit of contact, and there's damage to Petrox. Petrox missing his front right end plate. Damage now for Kazooie, and Sammy Bean is going to just romp away with this one. This could give second position to Simo as well, and you think about it, if the Ferrari cars hadn't had their issues, Lamp having to get his wing changed, and then World Rally getting disqualified for an unbeknownst reason, those guys would be absolutely pouncing on it like tigers. So yeah, Kazooie now with a 3-second time penalty. Petrox pulling into the pit lane for the Haas team has to change up his strategy completely here. Disaster for these guys.
And what I've noticed as well is Kazooie is even in a bad situation for getting damaged because he's on the hard tyres as well. So that means he hasn't had that much hards to last for this race. You only get 1 set of hard tyres if you go for the balanced option to last for the race, really, to be honest. So Kazooie is in huge trouble. All of his rivals did pit onto the medium tyres, where he was the one who stuck to his guns and went onto the hard tyres because he thought that will last the duration. But the mediums can last from around about the end of lap 7 onwards until the end of the race. So yeah, Kazooie's already on the back foot at the moment, 2 seconds down on his team, and yeah, I think Kazooie is probably going to go into the pits unless he can hold it on until the end, which is going to be a little bit tricky. We're on lap 14 of this race already, so we're pretty much on the first third of the race. As Lamp and Name Changer, they're pushing each other on the Nouvelle Chicane. You don't do that. As Lamp gets P10, Name Changer P11 as well. Manalo is fighting Greeny for P8. Not on it. I think it's for position. Actually, no, it's not for position because Greeny is on 13 lap old hards, whereas Manalo is on 7 laps. But Greeny is want to make sure he can try and push that to a suitable time so he can pit for softs and go for fastest lap as well. And all this battling is allowing the likes of the medium runners just to pull away ever so slightly. But the doubter is going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot closer to the ones on older mediums and the ones on fresher mediums, so they will have to pit. I'm trying to think when the ones pit. I think I saw in the Trovo League as well for PS4 and also the Xbox. I think some of the guys pitted around about lap 25. You got to be pitting pretty much 13 laps before the end of the race in order to make things work. So that's probably what these guys will be doing to do a medium to soft strategy. We've seen people do it justice in the other tiers, but I don't think it's going to work due to the fact that it is hard to overtake around this circuit. But Manalo has proved that he can overtake, but we'll have to wait and see what happens, of course.
Yeah, well, Manalo just beginning to pressure Greeny a little bit here, and I wouldn't be surprised if Greeny just lets him slip on by coming into Saint Devant and then allowing for Lamp to be held up. But Lamp really trying to go at Manalo here as they come out of, I think, Anthony Knotts or something. I don't know the name. I've forgotten all the corner names, but coming down the straightaway, it just looks like Greeny's that's a little bit too far ahead for Manalo to really make an impact. He goes deep into turn number 1, does Manalo. Could open the door for Lamp. He's definitely rearing up behind him, just trying to get close enough, but they're in a bit of a train here, and it's so difficult to overtake. You can't find any avenues for a move. Maybe Lamp can find one into Mirabeau, but then he taps the wall a little bit. There's just so many places where you can make mistakes. CC Brain pick up a 3-second time penalty, and he's not doing too well this season, is he, CC Brain? I believe Mercedes as a team are last in the constructors.
Yep, they are. Last in the constructors with only 5 points as well, with CC Rain scoring all those points with 5 points. So, Greeny actually could potentially get their first point, his first point of the season, if he stays where he is. Obviously, he will have to pit later on as well, so he'll probably drop down the order, but he's trying to hold up everybody. So Manalo potentially could get past as well, so he can help his esports compatriot as well. I know Manalo's going to be very, very brave here as well, but Lamp is probably going to be trying to be even braver, but we do know Lamp likes to take risks. He's going to go for a risk onto Razkaz. He's going to try and go for the moon as a bit of a touch. That was, I think, a risk too soon there, and that's front wing damage for Manalo by the looks of things. It was going so well for him. I think Lamp just took the gamble. It did not pay off.
Yeah, well, you just have to be so careful around this circuit. I don't know who was at fault, whether Manalo had nowhere to go or if he just turned in on Lamp, but I believe if that does get reported, which I believe it will do,
yeah, it will.
Given the fact that Manalo is almost missing its entire front wing here, it is up to the stewards to decide, so hopefully that gets resolved. But both of these guys, Lamp is now going to have to get his wing changed for the second time this race, and it's absolutely heart-wrenching for him because he qualified in such a good position and then his race just unravels right in front of him. It must be quite painful for him, but further up in the grid it looks like Simo, and I believe Lamp has lost it there into the Nobel chicane because he's lost position to Luca, but Simo onto the back of Kazui, got the DRS down the straightaway, won't be close enough to actually challenge, and he's just losing so much more time to Samu being up ahead. 6 seconds is now the gap. You'd have to think that a move is inevitable.
Yeah, well, I think it's got to be. We did see Samuel Bean get past Kazui earlier on, and we saw Kazui getting damaged from that as Lamp is out of the session and out of the race. He's retired from the pit lane by the looks of things on our mini-map on the right-hand side of your screen, so he's had enough, which is to be expected. But I think there's one of those races where he's good on a Saturday at qualifying, but he's not as good on a Sunday. He needs to take less risks and go for moves when there's space, to be honest, and he'll probably do a lot better, I have to say. But Monaco is a really hard track, to be honest. He'll probably fare better when we head to Monza next week for the Italian Grand Prix, which is a really, really good track for racing, as Ballina has got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. His race is going from bad to worse as well, where we are seeing Simo just edging Kazui just a little bit. Kazui's not doing too bad on those hards, even with light damage, but he's going to get towards the closing stages of the race where I think Simo is definitely going to overtake. I think it's going to be a question of when at the moment as well. And Samuel Bean up front is starting to catch up to the medium runners of the ones who have stayed out, as Makina has binned it past the Nouvelle chicane, and yeah, he's probably had a... Yeah, he's lost his... had he lost his front wing, or he just spun? I think it looks like he just spun. But yeah, he's down in 13th at the moment on hards. His hards don't look like a happy camper at the moment.
Yeah, and Manalo just getting past Table Clan here. He went around the outside of the Noble chicane, picked up a 3-second time penalty because of it. So, I mean, maybe the move wasn't worth the risk, because now he's got that to lumber on all the way to the end of the Grand Prix. Lamakina coming into the pit lane, presumably to get a wing change, but it doesn't look like the Williams team is actually preparing it. So no, he's just changing up the strategy, going on to the medium tyres to run 20 laps to the end, or 21 laps I should say, to the end of the Grand Prix. It's getting to the point where Sammy Bean is beginning to catch up to Benjamin and Hadler at the moment, so could be held up just a tad by them, but he's just gained so much time back to Kazui, who's struggling at this point in time with that minor bit of front wing damage that he has picked up from his contact earlier on in the Grand Prix. So not going too well for him. It looks like, oh, Ballina retiring in the pit lane, but name change is trying to size up a move on Greeny. He gets really close to the rear of the Mercedes car, who pulls into the pit lane, and he's going to go onto a set of medium tyres to go to the end of the race. That will open the door for Luca to get onto the back of name changer, who's you'd have to think is probably thinking about a pit stop soon, because he's been on those tyres since the end of the first lap.
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard for him to cope with these medium tyres, but if you can push it to lap 25, you should be good. So that is what the likes of name change will be doing, trying to do 25 laps on those medium, then pit for soft tyres, and then you'll be fresh there. Samuel Bean, I believe that's his first penalty. Yes, it is his first penalty. So both Renault drivers on penalties. Now, that is crucial if you're the likes of Simo and want to chase for a podium, even though Samuel Bean is absolutely dominating at the moment. But you've got to keep the gap up. But Simo looks like he's going to probably get P2 at this race, unless the alternate strategy runners have a good soft stint, as we got a lot. I think we've seen looks like Benjamin on one of the Alpha Tauris just parked it somewhere. Actually, it was Banana actually.
He retired.
Yeah, he retired in the pit lane. Sorry guys, I got a bit confused there, but looks like Simo's got trying to close in onto Kazooie again, but again it's going to be hard to get the move as well. Kazooie closing the door there. He wants to keep that net P2 on the track at least, even though he's not going to get it due to penalties as well. Past the first mobile section and now into the hairpin. He's not going to go for the move to Simo, and that's going to be staying in a net P3 at the moment. Will is chasing down as well on these guys. 2.8 seconds is the gap as well. We're already on lap 21 of this race so far. Anything can happen. We're pretty much halfway into this race. Petrox goes into the pits. I think he's picked up damage because he's been on, or it might be a drive-through, I'm not entirely sure. But he comes out down into 15th position.
That's quite odd that he's on 6-lap-old medium tyres. I'll just check on the race director. If he had a penalty to serve, he's not got anything at all. So, well, at least on his personal race director, I'll look on the incidents section to see why he was in the pit lane. No. Though they must be just being used from something or somewhere. I don't know why.
It might have been used at the start of the race. It might be.
Could have been.
Or
I believe he started inside the top 10 though. So yeah, I guess that might just be a glitch on Codemaster's behalf. But
we don't know.
He's come out in the 15th position, so he's not in the best position for this race. It looks like table plan is going to begin to fall further down the order because Lamakina is beginning to pressure him, and he's trying to size up a move through Tabak. I don't think that's the best place to make an overtake, and through the swimming pool chicane he could definitely find an opportunity. They're getting very close to the Spaniard's rear end here. Can he do it? And Lampard leaves the session. I didn't even realise he was still in.
He's retired. He's retired from the race. Obviously, I think he was probably helping someone, and then he realised he was still in, so he retired. But look at this, Lamakina's trying to size a move up the inside into Sandoval, and looks like he's done it. And he's up into P12. Table Clan is chasing up Petrock as well, and Manilo's out the race. Manilo's out the race, and he's retired in the pit lane. Yeah, he's retired in the pit lane. So he's had enough as well. We've got Fabi, Hadler and Benjamin still to pit up front. But apart from that, it is Samuel Bean that is leading this race and is already chasing down the front pack already to try and not get held up, because you can't get held up here as well, because Simo may still be on course to win this race if that happens. Greeny picked up a time penalty as well. It looks like it's penalty central at the moment. As Kazooie, it looks like Kazooie picked up more damage there. Into just before the Millbell section. I'm not entirely sure, because he is struggling a little bit. I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see, of course, as we head into the lap 23. 2 more laps before the medium runners go onto the soft tyres until the end of the race. I will get gap to leader for you very, very soon, but it's going to be hard to tell who's going to get penalty free. Fair play to the ones who are keeping it penalty free, but I think there's some drivers that are very close to getting their first penalty.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the intervals at the moment between Sammy Bean and Kazooie. It's dropped quite a lot. I think that he's just really struggling behind these guys who haven't pitted. Is Sammy Bean, and that begs the question, how quick would Simo be if he wasn't being held up by Kazooie? So really not helping Simo there. He could definitely see a win on the horizon if possible. Petrox making another pit stop onto another set of hard tyres, and he instantly gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. That's not due to warnings or anything. That is just a straight up penalty there, and no, it's getting quite feisty up ahead, and it looks like Benjamin's tapped the back of Hadler. That was a bit of an ambitious move for the Belgian to make there, but he holds up Sammy Bean even more. Now the gap has dropped to 2.5 seconds. Simo could be in the 3 seconds that he needs to win this race. It's not over for the Italian. The light still burns inside of his heart. He knows that he can still do this. He's going to start to push like mad and try and get past Kazooie and then take the fight to Sammy Bean up ahead. Don't go anywhere, because we are still in for a brilliant race here.
I've got to say, Simo has very impressed me in this race so far. Don't forget, he's one of the drivers in this tier who has qualified for the Challenger Series as well, Name Changer being the other driver. So it is good to see him up there showing what he can do at this stage. He does like Monaco, to be honest, so to be honest, I'm not that surprised to see him up there in the top 10. I'll need to also check where he actually finished in some of the races and where he got his best finish, because there's some races where he's had a good strong finish and there's some races where it's not. His best finish was last time about in 9th place in France. He's been outside the points for the other 2 races he took part in, the 12th in Australia and a 17th position in Great Britain, and obviously he did not start in Belgium due to the fact that he was in the Challenger Series. So this is probably where we get to see his true form now. Could we see a point streak for the Haas car? It's looking possible here at the moment. He could be on for his first win if he can keep up. He's actually around about, he's actually closing up to Samuel Bean as well as Kazui. So if it stays as it is, Simo will be winning this race as long as Simo does not get a penalty.
Yeah, he's done absolutely brilliantly so far. Sublime performance coming out from Simo. He doesn't actually necessarily need to clear anyone here because all of the guys in front of him will be coming into the pit lane. All he has to do is just drive as carefully as he can, but still maintain within touching distance, within 3 seconds of Sammy being ahead. There's one of the first drivers to come into the pit lane out of the 3 that are still staying out, and that's Benjamin. Coming into the box now should be a set of soft tyres, otherwise he would have come in a lot earlier for a set of hards. And there it is, the Red Bull tyre. He will be absolutely rapid today, and I believe he's actually going to come out in a very, very strong position. 7th place is where he's going to emerge, unless Name Changer has anything to say about it. He's running right next to the pit wall, his Name Changer. Could be dangerous there, as Benjamin just coming out the pit lane. They're going to be very, very close, but it is Benjamin maintaining that 7th position there. So Name Changer, who's on those medium tyres with 24 lap, most likely he will have to pit again for the Alfa Romeo team. But brilliant stuff from Benjamin to just keep his nose clean, stay out of trouble, and come out in a brilliant 7th position. I need to come up with a better adjective for brilliant, don't I?
Yeah, I think we've been both saying brilliant for the majority of this stream, and yeah, we have to figure synonyms for that. Fantastic, outstanding, phenomenal. I can't even say that word, but there we go. We'll try and figure some as well. 12.3 seconds is a tall order around here, but Will is on 19-lap-old mediums, so it's gonna be close, I think, for Benjamin to try and get there. But he has no penalties as well, so he still could be on for a strong finish. He still could be leading this championship. Fabi comes in as well. Don't forget, Fabi was leading this train. So he's probably going to be ahead of Benjamin this rate. If not, it's going to be very, very close. This could be a good fight between Fabi and Benjamin for some good positions in this race. So Fabi's coming out. Oh my goodness, it's going to be very, very close. Heading into Saint Devon. Looks like Benjamin just edges Fabi there for P6, and that undercut has worked wonders for Benjamin. But yeah, this could be a very interesting finish for both of these drivers who wanted to get past the majority of these guys as well. Maybe Fabi could use Benjamin for slipstream to try and close in ever so slightly on the likes of Will, Simo, Kazui, Samuel Bean as well. The only other driver still yet to pit out of the leading bunch is Hadler, who will also go on to the red striped soft tyres. He's probably going to come in this lap. He's got Samuel Bean chasing him, and Kazui has picked himself another penalty.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the gap between Benjamin and Will. You can't count out Benjamin in this race for the win, because if he can get past Will, and provided that Simo doesn't get any penalties, he'll just have to clear him to be in a winning position. Hadler now coming into the pit lane for his one and only, or you'd hope one and only pit stop in this race, as he surely will be overtaken by Benjamin here. He's in the pit box right now, and Benjamin's already coming down the start-finish straight. So yeah, that 2-lap undercut really coming in handy for the Belgian driver, and actually Hadler's dropping way down the order. He's going to be in 10th position, so not the best of circumstances for Hadler in this race. 6.5 is the gap. Watch that rapidly come down in this race, and we can definitely have a spectacular one on our hands.
Yeah, we saw a fantastic finale in Xbox. I think we're going to get something similar here in F2 today, and that's why I like commentating on these guys as well. They like to show some close races. It's actually not been a bad race, to be honest. It's been pretty good for these guys as well. So that means Samuel Bean's in the lead on track, at least, with Kazui in second, Simo in third, but a net leader at the moment due to penalties. And Kazooie, I think, is just going to hope and pray that Simo picks up penalties as well. But it doesn't matter if Simo picks another his first run, because Kazooie is on 6 seconds anyway. All that Kazooie's got to worry about is keeping his car on the road. He's probably going to drop down massively. Fabi's up into 5th position as well after a few Hadler has pitted as well. And he's around about 3.9 seconds behind Will. This is going to be absolutely insane from the AlphaTauri. He's a really young driver, this Benjamin. He was picked up from VRT because of his strong performance, and my oh my, he's definitely a championship contender. I've already written him out at the start of the race, saying now he's not going to do well. But to be honest, he's letting other people make mistakes, and Benjamin hasn't made that much mistakes in this race, and that's helped him gain P5 on track of this race. He's probably going to get my drive of the day if he keeps this up. I should stop talking good things about him, because I might jinx him at this point.
Yeah, well, all he has to do is just drive consistently and catch up to these guys and make quick work of them as well. It looks like that Will is beginning to drop off ever so slightly from the top 3 at the moment, so won't help him. There's Table Khan coming into the pit lane, making it 5 retirements in this Grand Prix, and he's just not had a good one at all today. Petrox, in the middle of getting lapped, actually might give the DRS to Benjamin. It doesn't look like he's got that luxury, but already letting him by. Of course, VRT teammates are going to have that connection together, and it will be easy enough to get past him there. So now this is going to be where it will get interesting for Benjamin, because it's one thing to catch a driver, it's a whole other ball game to actually overtake them, and especially at a track like Monza, it will be very, very tough for him to do so. Provided he does it quickly, he'll be onto the back of Simo, who's in the race lead at the moment, provided he doesn't get any penalties. There's so many circumstantial things you can't really put your money on to win any of them to win.
Exactly. We thought it was up to the 2 Renault boys, but they're getting penalties. We may think it's Simo, or Benjamin still could be this as well. Fabi as well, but Fabi's 2 seconds behind Benjamin, so there's going to be a tall order for him. Benjamin's actually got to get past Will now as well, and Will is fighting for track position as well, so it's going to be really hard for Will to fight this one, to be honest, unless Benjamin can get past. He's going to probably not take much risk, because Benjamin does have a penalty, but for the more he fights Will, the more that the guys at the front are going to pull away from these guys, which is definitely not what you want as they head into Sandoval. Now looks like Benjamin is going to take it easy for now. His VRT compatriot Petrox, unfortunately, has retired in the pit lane. I think that's why we see the majority of retirements, apart from World Rally's disqualification, is in the pit lane. So I think a majority of people have given up, which is a bit of a shame. And Benjamin, nope, he's not going to go for a move day. Not very brave at the moment. I could see Benjamin probably going for more risky moves towards the end of this race.
Yeah, I'm just a bit confused as to why. I believe Lamakina's had an issue there, and he's off at the Novo chicane, but I'm just a bit confused why Will, realistically, for his race, of course, he will want the track position, but he's losing this on a penalty anyways. He's probably just trying to force Benjamin into making a mistake by following behind him in that dirty air. As that's, oh my word, you could not write it. The safety car has come out on lap number 31, and that is probably for Lamakina. So he's saved a lot of drivers there from being in a bad position. Probably hasn't helped some other drivers, so we'd expect to see some guys maybe going into the pit lane for a fresh set of softs. I don't think we will.
No.
He baited him there, but he's going to stay out. I don't think it's really worth giving up the track position for the fresh set of softs unless you've got a clear advantage car behind.
Yeah, I think at this later stages you would rather stay out, really, to be honest, because it's going to be very hard for you to catch up to the cars and also overtake them as well, because it's really hard to overtake in Monaco. So if the guys have pitted, then unless they obviously have to pit, like Name Changer and Mish, they're going to be in huge trouble. So the top 4 have pretty much done the right thing to stay out. Benjamin's going to be in a huge position. He's going to be the one with the most pressure at this stage to try and get pretty much the race win. If he keeps this up, he could potentially, due to the fact the cars are so bunched up together now, he could be on for P2 finish. At the moment, it's looking like Simo will win, then Benjamin, then Fabi as well, which will be insane as Petrox has left the session. and it was, I think, due to McKenna causing that safety car. I was hoping there will be no safety car in this race, but unfortunately we got one. And that's definitely going to spice things up in terms of strategy as well. And it kind of reminds me, it definitely reminds me of Senna and Prost in 1992, where it was the fresh tyre of Mansell versus the long-standing tyre of Senna going head-to-head. It's like that with Benjamin versus the other medium and hard runners. It's basically 4 against 1 at this moment in time.
Yeah, well, for Benjamin, he's just got to get that elusive win, of course. 4 rounds into the championship, he's not picked up a race win yet. 2 third-place positions puts him in the position that he is on top of the standings, currently with the most points out of anyone. If he can clear Will and get by Simo, he'll be right on the money for the win, and I think that will really give him the confidence coming into the next couple of races, which are some tough ones. I do have to say, of course, Italy is a track beloved by a lot of them, but then we've got some really, really heavy hitters for them. You know, you've got the likes of Russia and Singapore, and then later on, of course, Abu Dhabi, some drivers aren't too careful on, and they don't really like it that much. They don't play it as much, and yeah, it does not help them at all.
Yeah, exactly. And the ones that have got penalties, I think they were hoping to not have a safety car, so they're going to be in huge trouble there as well. So it gives us an opportunity to talk about the race rundown at this stage. So Samuel Bean is leading on track, Kazui in P2, Simo in 3rd, Will in 4th, Benjamin 5th, Babby in 6th. Then we've got Luca on 29 lap old Haas in 7th position. That can go to about 35 laps on them. And I'm just trying to do the maths. I think with the way the safety car's going, Luca could get to the end on those Haas. So as long as he can keep track position, he could be on for a good result despite the troubles he had this race. Hadler 8th, Name Changer somehow still in 9th, Mish in 10th. The racing points there. Mish is not having a good day at the moment. He's only going to probably score 1 point at this rate, or maybe even a few points due to more people getting penalties, but that's definitely going to allow Renault to catch up, and AlphaTauri of Benjamin as well on his own. And we got Greeny, CC Braid and McKenna bringing up the rear there as well. And there's not going to be many race laps of green flag racing, in particular DRS as well, only enabled in the start finish straight anyway, so that means they only have a few laps to really get together, try and take some risks, but you don't want to take too many risks because otherwise you can get damage and that could ruin your race completely. But we may have to say no heroics into San Devot once again to try and hope that these guys don't get involved in any instance, as we're just waiting, I believe, for CC Brain to catch up. McKenna, I believe, is a lap down, so he's probably stuck. But yeah, he is stuck in the middle of Greeny at the moment. And on this game, unfortunately, lap cars are not allowed to unlap themselves, which is something I think they should bring back to F1 2021, because that has probably hindered McKenna's race and being a lap down, and pretty much everyone at this stage.
Yeah, well, you'd really have to expect for him to have brought it upon himself. He's just not had that good of a race at all. He's been in the wall quite a few times, and I definitely think he's visited the pit lane. He's visited the pit lane 5 times in this Grand Prix.
Wow.
Wow. So yeah, there's no surprise that he's a lap down, but because CC Brain has caught up to the back of the field, that should mean that we will go green this lap. We'll probably get the notice around about the swimming pool chicane, or around about now actually. There we go. Yeah.
Good timing.
Safety car in this lap. Sammy Bean will be leading the field, and then of course Kazui on that very, very worn out set of hard tyres. He just needs to hold off everyone else and hope that he can maintain the highest position, but all eyes are going to be on one man, of course, on IGK Simo. No penalties to his name. He is in prime winning position to get his first race in F2, as Sammy Bean is his discretion as to when and where they go. And it looks like as he comes out the final corner, they are pedal to the metal, to quote George Morgan, that we are getting ready to go racing. We're green here in Monaco.
Yep, we go, and it looks like they're all maintaining position at the moment as they head towards San Devot as well. Looks like Name Changer's going to go for a move on Hadler there as well. It's going to be harder towards the end of the race, to be honest, as Benjamin really wants to get past Will at this stage as well, but he just can't do it. I think some of these guys may want to do something similar to what Manilo did earlier on, but a great move as well. Benjamin looked like he was going to go for a move there, but he does not at the moment. And I think the more that they stop behind these guys, the more the Renault boys are going to run away with it at the moment. Simo doesn't need to do anything right now. As long as he stays pretty much on the pace of the top two, he's going to get this win. Benjamin, I think all he's going to hope for is he's going to get P2 anyway, as long as the top two pretty much doesn't run away with it. So Benjamin has got to get past Will ASAP really as well. So we'll just have to wait and see on the end of it as well. I think everyone is quite close to each other, and all it takes down is for one person to make a mistake, and then that can help someone and hinder someone else.
Yeah, absolutely. And even it's not completely unlikely that Simo or Benjamin will pick up a penalty, so you really can't predict it at this point in the race. It looks like that Will has just burnt up a little bit more ERS than Benjamin to maintain the position. He wants that track position, and it is really just allowing for Simo to escape ever so slightly, as well as Sammy Bean and Kazui. Now it's 1.5 seconds the gap. At this rate, Benjamin might not even be on the podium because Will is holding him up so much, and it's just allowing for the guys to slip away in front of him. So really not what he would have liked at this point in time, and he's probably Benjamin's going to be very, very frustrated about this one. He'll definitely want to charge and try and make a move as soon as possible.
Yeah, and I'm seeing the gap between first and third really start to increase. 2.2 seconds. Samuel Bean has probably been given a call by his engineer that it's hammer time. And to be honest, as long as he gets the gap to 3 seconds on Simo, then he could get this win. So don't forget, Kazui has got more penalties than Samuel Bean. So Kazui is probably going to drop way down the order. But Simo, he is losing time on those medium tyres. Probably he hasn't got his tyres up to temperature in the safety car restart just before that as well. That's probably what's hindering it at the moment. So probably his race win is pretty much over unless he can find a little bit more attempt in this lap. He's going to pretty much gain. He's on 24% ERS, and he's on the same as Samuel Bean and Kazui as well. So it's pretty much, I think, a battle between Samuel Bean and Simo for the race victory today. There's no doubt about it, and it's going to come down to penalties. 3 laps to go of this Monaco Grand Prix. You can see a train of cars heading towards the Millbelt or heading in towards Portier at the moment. This is crunch time for everybody. They want to get their best results of the season. Fabi wants to get his way up there past Benjamin as well, but that's going to be tough for him as well. And Will's doing a fantastic job. Will is the centre in this situation, and Benjamin is the mantle.
Yeah, he's a brick wall at the moment. It's almost unbreakable, but even in the shiniest armor, there can be some weak spots for you to take advantage of. Benjamin just needs to locate it and go for the move. He realistically isn't going to get higher than third position at the moment, if I'm not mistaken, or he'd be in fourth because he's been held up so much. He's actually lost that advantage that he needs on Kazui, and he's trying to make a move into Sandoval, but he just can't find a way by as Hadler loses a position to Name Changer, and I believe there's Mish as well getting by, and there's more drama because the 2 Mercedes are going side by side. CC Brain trying to hang it around the outside of Greeny. Look at that,
wow.
They come wheel to wheel, bit of contact, but CC Brain has to have the commitment around the outside. There's more contact between the pair of them. Both are part of the same Wii Sports organisation. They've been a part of the same team in PSGL F2 for so long. There's more contact between the pair of them, but it is Greeny LFC holding off, fending off CC Brain. He's here to stay, and he needs that point to really start his campaign. He's not too far behind Hadler and Meach. If he could just find a way to get by. He's got 9 seconds of time penalty, so it's looking like he's unlikely to actually get a oh, sorry, I've lost track of what I was there, but it's unlikely he's going to get a point in this race, and Mercedes struggles probably going to continue.
It looks like Simo is definitely keeping the gap that he needs to possibly take this victory, as long as he doesn't lose it there as well. But yeah, it looks like the Mercedes are not going to get points today, which is fortunate. Neither is the 2 Ferraris or one of the Haas's, Alfa Romeo, Red Bull, or the AlphaTauri. But one of the AlphaTauris is doing very well, up into 4th place of this race. He's not going to get a podium, sadly, but surely he's going to go home with his head held high, that he's going to extend his lead over the likes of Will, the likes of Mish as well in this championship, which is probably, you'll be pretty happy as well that your main championship rivals are behind you as well. The only people that is ahead of you is Samuel Bean as well. So Samuel Bean is probably the only other driver to worry about at this moment. We're on the final lap of this race. Simo has just lost a tenth in that middle sector. This could hurt him more than help him at this stage. It's going to be very, very close towards the end. I think the Renaults are using each other for slipstream, and I think that's going to help Samuel Bean probably take this race win. But Simo's gained a few attempts in that Nouvelle chicane there. That's probably helped him as well. This is going to be ever so tight. Samuel Bean has driven a very good race so far. Overtaken Kazui earlier on, picked up less penalties than him. Samuel Bean is going to take the race win on track, but has he done it on penalties? We'll have to wait and see. Simo comes across the line. Simo just does it by 0.3 of a second. Simo takes his first win in PSGL with F2, and I think his first win ever. And it's a very close finish at the end there. But yeah, we've had our pretty much fourth different race winner, and it goes to Simo, who was in F2 last season. Probably wasn't expecting to get a race victory this season, and he's done it in a track where everyone wants to win, Monaco, and that's all down to penalties there. So Simo, he was probably fighting for breath at the moment that he took this race victory today. A massive, well-deserved victory for him.
Yeah, I'll be absolutely ecstatic about that one, and he might not have had the highest hopes for this Grand Prix, but he's come out on top ahead of Samuel Bean and ahead of Benjamin, who probably extends his championship lead, if I'm not mistaken, in this one. So yeah, a brilliant performance from all the way back in 16th position. You really do have to hand it to him. It could have been more from him, but of course, without being held up by Will. But I think that is a lot. He did so well in this Grand Prix, and I believe he wasn't a million miles off of actually taking Sammy Bean as well.
Yeah, it was very
1/10.
1/10. Wow. And to be honest, I have to say, Benjamin gets my drive of the day. He was under the radar at the start of the race, but he absolutely was on form towards the end there, absolutely pushing himself. So yeah, I think Simo and Benjamin go my drive of the day of this race as well. So let's look at your results then. Simo wins from Samuel Bean. Benjamin takes third and extends his lead in the Drivers' Championship. Kazui in fourth, Fabi in fifth, Mish in sixth, Hallow in 7th, Will in 8th, then we got CC Brain in 9th, Name Changer gets the final point, and we got Luca, Greeny, and Manakrina, Ryan rounds up your finishers, and I think Petrox has finished as, actually no, Petrox retires. We've got Petrox, Table Clan, Manalo, Banana, Lamp, and Roll Rally being your retirements there as well. And what an ending to that race. The safety car pretty much did not change that much, but it allowed Benjamin to close right up.
Yeah, and of course that might not have helped him, because it kind of cut his laps down that he could have actually made the move on Will, and yeah, that's probably what hindered him in the end, because he wasn't far off of the leading pack. But that is just how the cookie crumbles sometime. He'll be really pleased to be coming from the position that he did. So yeah, you do have to hand it to him.
Yeah, definitely, as well. As we're just waiting, I think, for a few drivers to come in to the interview room. I think all of them I think would we want to be interviewed anyway, so I'm going to try and get them in the party as well. I think the only one that has been interviewed before is our race winner, Simo, and I wonder what he's feeling after that race, because that must have been intense for him. So I'm just going to see if anyone's rating in the rating room. Not quite at the moment. I kind of want to use one of the new graphics with the race interviews, and it looks like we're not going to use it so far. But yeah, this opens, well, it doesn't really it opens the championship quite closely towards the midfield as well, and with both Renaults in the top, well, pretty much near the top, but due to penalties it allowed the other guys to close in. Renault will be leading I'm not sure it's AlphaTauri or Renault leading the constructors. I will have to do some maths there as well, but we'll have to wait and see. And Simo saying finally a great race. I mean, he's had such bad luck this season. He's only had one finish in the points, and apart from that, he's had a P12 and a P17. I mean, you know, it just shows that you just got to plough on for the season, and you get those good results. And hopefully, you can keep this up for the rest of the season now.
Yeah, he's just got to keep that consistency going, and he'll definitely be in a really good position come the end of the season, where either your motivation is really high or it's really low, and those early performances are really going to impact how you actually feel coming to that end of the really end part of the season. So if he just keeps putting in more performances like that, he'll be absolutely laughing.
And we've got one driver in the interview box, the driver that managed to secure P3 in the race today after the medium to soft strategy performed absolutely brilliantly. So I'm going to drag him in. Benjamin, that must have been very, very tense towards the end there. Did you think it was a game over at the start of the race when you started on the mediums, or did you think you had a chance to fight for some good points today on the alternate strategy?
Well, I didn't really expect this kind of points, but I thought if I didn't get damaged, I could maybe get some points. But yeah, I kept it clean today and it paid off very well.
Did you say Monaco was one of your stronger tracks, or did you end up practicing a lot for this track today?
No, yeah, I tried to practice today, but I just couldn't find really a good setup for the quali. But yeah, the race was pretty good.
Yes, obviously you managed to get those tyres going to around about, I would say, lap 24, 25, and you thought you had maybe potential P3 or P4 in the bag. Then you saw the safety car. Did that change your strategy ever so slightly? Did you need to work a little bit harder?
Well, I knew I had to overtake Will to still get a chance of a podium. So yeah, I passed him lap 37, and yeah, I was really happy with that. Because otherwise I would have lost the gap to Kazui, I think.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it would be still P4, but a podium is much better.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, you're extending your lead in the championship. The gap was 3 points. Your nearest championship rivals of Mish and Table Clan did not have a good race today. Samuel Bean is closing up as well. Could we see a very good fight between you three and potentially Will in the championship for you guys?
Yeah, definitely. I think Samu is really quick in Italy, common tracks, so he'll be in for a shot at the title, I think. And Michel as well. He's on the pad, and this is Monaco, so it was a hard race for him.
Yeah, and speaking of Monza, that's where we're going to next as well. Is that a track where you're going to go for a similar strategy, or you're going to try and aim for pole position?
Well, I'm going to try to go for pole, but I'm a bit afraid of Sam. As I said, he's really fast.
Yeah. Dan, do you have any questions for Benjamin before we interview our race winner?
Yeah, well, I've just got to ask, judging by your qualifying, you weren't high up the grid. Did you expect to have such a good race that you did in this race?
Well, I knew my race pace was good, but I bought it quali really bad. So yeah, and yeah, the plan was just to not get damaged.
Yeah, well, awesome stuff. You executed it really well today.
Cool. Thank you for that, Benjamin, and well done for that P3, and best of luck for Italy next week. And we are going to get our race winner, the maiden race winner of PSGL. I believe is his first win of PSGL. IGK Simo 24. Big congratulations. That must be a huge relief under your shoulders to finally get that race win in PSGL F2. How do you feel?
Good evening, guys. I feel so good. I think I've done a really good race, and I'm pretty happy with the results.
Yeah, you must have as well. Was it really, really hard to try and keep penalty free in this race? Because that pretty much was a deciding factor on whether you won or become second in the race, really.
Yeah, Samu had a great pace. And it was not easy to stay into 3 seconds from him. And yeah, I keep it clean, and I managed to win this race, my first race.
Yeah, you had no damage as well, which is fair going, to be honest, around Monaco. And you've had bad luck in the season so far. You only scored your first points in France, where you got P9 as well, and you got a P12 in Australia and a P17 in Great Britain as well. When was the point where you realised that you could be in a hard time in this season? Because it just shows you're not giving up there. And did you think you were going to get points in your second season in F2, or was it going to be a tough call?
Yeah, I think that my first races could be better. I had some contact in Australia and Great Britain, then a drive-through in France.
Yeah.
But for sure, my pace was good to get point in all race. And yeah, finally I keep I sorry for my English, guys.
No, but no, it's
I
fine. Your
I had
English is good.
a clean race without mistakes, and yeah, I took a good results finally.
Are you going to carry the
In
momentum?
my worst
Sorry, carry on.
probably in my worst track so far.
Oh wow! So if you perform well in your worst track, then it's probably going to give you some momentum heading into next week around Monza. Do you like the track Monza, or is it another track that you hate?
I don't like Monza totally, but yes, I think I could get another podium if I repeat another race like that.
You never know, because I know Monza does bring out the craziness, I think, as well. Dan, any questions for our race winner?
Yeah, well, of course, your home Grand Prix next week in Italy. Do you think you can carry this momentum forward, and just really, how are the nerves going into the next race?
Yeah, it's not the track I like much, but yeah, it's my own Grand Prix, so I'll give it all to try to get another good result.
Oh, that was a brilliant performance from you, and you totally deserve that win. So, yeah, brilliant stuff. Well done today.
Thank you so much.
And I'll let you celebrate, mate. Even though it's during these tough times, I'll celebrate at the moment online and stuff, and just let the win sink in for you, because it's a definitely well deserving one for him. So pretty much that comes to the end of PSGL F2 tonight. We hope you enjoyed the race. Well, we certainly did in the commentary box as well. And we head to Monza, like we said, next week for the final part of the first half of the season. This is where, if the guys who've had horrible starts to the season not have a good race next week, then they're going to be in a lot of trouble for the second half. And there's going to be chances for the likes of Benjamin to try and extend his lead possibly as well. Make sure you join us for F1, F5 and F6, which their races are starting right now. So make sure you check those out as well as they carry on their Monaco action. Thank you to Dan for joining me in the commentary box as always.
Yeah, it was brilliant to be here today, and it was a good race to commentate over.
Brilliant, and we will see you next week, same time at 7 o'clock for the Italian Grand Prix. Have a good evening, everybody. Bye-bye.